Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Gartner webinar, The Art of the One-Page Strategy, Inspire with Stories. And now I'd like to welcome Gartner Vice President Analyst, Heather Colella. Heather, thank you for joining us. And now I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jillian, and welcome everybody to The Art of the One-Page Strategy, Inspiring with Stories. In today's world, we have kind of this backdrop of emerging trends, which include almost the expectation of, quote, everything digital, my words. Yet with everything digital, in terms of accelerating business growth, I have to admit I found it surprising that only 51% of employees now perform their work using technology. Not surprised that the future is hybrid, but this everything digital backdrop creates a series of challenges. You know, the challenges of creating multiple and competing outcomes for a business, the scarcity of talent with the great reflection that's going on, and the need for hybrid working models. If you have been attending our events over the last few years, the term composability is not foreign to you. Composability has been our theme for a few years, and we're getting deeper into it all of the time. Some enterprises are restructuring for uncertainty through composability as a way to excel at being flexible. In fact, 87% of companies who participated in our survey this year have a moderate level of composability in their ways of working. And it pays off. The higher the composability score for an organization, the higher the relative performance compared to peers and competitors. So enter into that backdrop, storytelling. Storytelling is the heart of business growth. Visuals and stories engage at a visceral level. They increase the ability for people to remember your conversation, to be able to make meaningful trade-offs, and that leads to effective investing in the organization. Now, before we go to our first of two polls, for those of you who are attending for the second or third or maybe even fourth time, I love hearing how often y'all attend this session. Let me describe what's changed this time. In addition to a different background, which we just went through in terms of what the trends and challenges and business backdrop are, I will go through a series of examples and story types, how to find your story, and the last section will be how to use storytelling. I've eliminated from this the research associated with it so that we can free up more time for Q&A, which 99.9% of you say is the most valuable part of this session, to be able to hear the questions from others. And so with that, let's go to our first poll. What are you trying to achieve with your one-page strategy? A, help my organization respond to current market uncertainties by using a common story. B, change the perception of how information and technology / digital technologies are perceived in the organization. C, get agreement on the often undocumented business strategy. D, guide investment decisions. Or E, use it as a communications vehicle across the enterprise to drive resources to the right outcomes. And so that should be available in your screen now. And let's see where you stand. Oh, this is interesting. 40% of you want to use it as a communications vehicle across the enterprise, which is absolutely the compelling part of storytelling altogether. I will apologize. I know that you cannot see these answers. 20% are looking to gain agreement on the undocumented business strategy. Another 20% are looking to change the perception of how IT and digital technologies are perceived. Wow, yeah, and communications vehicles at 45% right now. So this is the answers that I'm a little bit surprised by, or that are different than previous sessions, and I run this twice a year. The guidance on investment decisions is sitting at only 6%. Typically, the answers are almost equal across all 5 answers. So this is interesting that communications and perception and getting agreement on the business strategy are the top 3 now, and investment are different. I will talk later about how, though, to use your story to get investment decisions made. So with that, let's go into examples of one-page strategies. These are real-life examples that I am sharing with you. Each one represents a real-life one-page strategy. There are 5 types of stories: a stakeholder, algorithm, process, capability, and mission. A stakeholder story is when you look at everybody who has a vested interest in your story and tell the story from their perspective. An algorithm is where your success is a function of multiple factors coming together. A process story is looking at the end-to-end business process for those companies where operational efficiencies and effectiveness are critical. A capability story is used to tell the story of what capabilities make your company successful. And a mission story is often used for public sector, government, nonprofit organizations. And with that, let's look at each of them. A stakeholder story. The example I'm going to share is from a test and measurement company. Very manual processes, very traditional industry, low margins, not a lot of change going on in the organization. 6 stakeholders in their story: the executive team, lab managers, technicians, office personnel, sales, and customers. If you are not red, green, colorblind, you see that customers are mad. They're mad because they can only submit an order in one of 2 ways. They can either phone it in or fax it in, and that's it, phone or fax. Now, what happens then is all orders would go to the office, and the office person would have to re-enter every order into a green screen system, which I'm certain most of you are too young to know what that is. And only then would lab managers see the products that they needed to develop. And only after they created and developed them did they re-enter into another green screen system for technicians to start to plan what their install base would look like. Pre-pandemic, sales would run through the building, making sure lab managers knew which orders were coming up and technicians knew which orders were coming out for them to plan their schedule more effectively. The executive team literally had no insight into the company, so they would run the business based on gut feel. When the pandemic hit and everybody went home, sales thought, you know what, maybe this will be okay. I can just pick up the phone instead of getting my 10,000 steps in a day. But instead, what happened is nobody answered the call.